Chapter 13. The birth of Virachandra Prabhu and the disappearance of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda constantly enjoyed unlimited inconceivable pastimes at Ambika Kalna. In spite of manifesting so many pastimes, no one could recognize him, as fish are unable to see the moon reflected on the ocean. Lord Nityananda thought, I'll build an ashram at Khanda to follow the orders of the Lord. I'll open up a marketplace for distributing the holy names. After contemplating this, Nityananda went to Khanda to manifest his pastimes. The Lord followed the principles of household life and manifested the service of the deity, Sri Shyam Sundar. Sri Janava and Sri Vasudha constantly worshipped the lotus feet of Nityananda. The Lord endowed them with his energies. He enjoyed various pastimes with both his consorts, fulfilling their heart's desires. The happiness of Janava and Vasudha knew no bounds, for they had Nityananda Prabhu as their husband. Both had prayed to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya that Lord Nityananda would be their husband birth after birth. On an auspicious day, at an auspicious time, and during a most auspicious conjunction of the stars, the fortunate Vasudha bore a son as bright as the moon. The people of the three worlds floated in the ocean of bliss, chanting the names of Hari. The multitudes in heaven and on earth glorified Vasudha for having such a beautiful child. He was born on the 4th day of the full moon in the month of January. Vasudha gave birth after keeping this male child in her womb for 15 months. It was Lord Gaurachandra reincarnated as Sri Virachandra Prabhu. Those who never saw Gaurachandra now saw him in the form of Virachandra. This most enchanting child enjoyed various childhood pastimes and grew up day after day. One day, while Lord Nityananda was sitting in the courtyard, Abhiram arrived. He called out, "Oh dear brother Balaram," and entering the courtyard, began to laugh. Lord Nityananda rushed to embrace him. Abhiram sweetly said to Nityananda, "I heard you had a son. Let me see him. I want to offer him obeisances." Nityananda said, "You know everything. I don't know who's come as my son." They both spoke by gestures and postures. Out of love and affection, they embraced each other and cried. When Vasudha heard that Abhiram had come, she thought, "I don't know what plan Krishna has. I've heard lately that any deity he offers obeisances to immediately cracks." The child Virachandra was lying on a wooden cot, holding a colorful piece of cloth on his chest. The eyelids half closed over his eyes. It appeared as if lotus petals were trapping bumblebees in the evening. The vivid mark of black ointment on his eyes stretched up to his ears. His forehead was marked with a dot of cow dung. His curly hair was tied in a top knot. Whoever saw him wanted to keep him in his heart. Abhiram came and looked at the child without blinking his eyes. He felt his eyes were smeared with the ointment of nectar. The sight of the child relaxed his whole body. The child was lying on his own cot, appearing as if the morning sun had risen within the room. He had a raised nose and a beautiful forehead. His hands were long and his chest was wide. His 2 lotus feet, marked with the signs of an exalted personality, defeated the beauty of Cinnabar. Seeing the child, Abhiram became very happy. He went near his feet and offered obeisances. In this way, he offered obeisances 3 times. The Lord, in the form of the child, then woke from his yoga nidra and began to smile. He started kicking his feet, just like an ordinary child. Abhiram repeatedly offered his obeisances and circumambulated him. With great joy, he began to chant the names of Hari. He played his flute and horn before the child and then came out. Nityananda Prabhu respectfully offered him a place to sit. Abhiram was decorated with peacock feather and gunja bead garlands. He wore earrings shaped like a fish and thin bangles on his hands. He had a waistband with bells and anklets on his feet with bells. His complexion was that of a ketaki flower, and he was strongly built. He was non-different from the eternally perfect cowherd boy called Sridham, the son of King Vrishabhanu. Now he was known as Abhiram. He stayed at the house of Lord Nityananda for one night. Then he joyfully went to other places. Lord Virabhadra often revealed himself during his childhood pastimes and gave immense pleasure to Lord Nityananda. Advaita Acharya came from Shantipur, and after seeing the child, he carefully concluded, a child born in the house of a thief will naturally be a thief, but how to catch this thief? Advaita Acharya was naturally expert in speaking riddles. Only one he favors can understand them. After circling the child, Advaita returned to Shantipur. All the Vaishnavas visited the child and returned home. Virchandra Prabhu continually enjoyed his attractive childhood pastimes. How can I describe the sweetness of Virachandra's beauty? Whoever saw him kept on staring at him. He wore anklets on his feet and a tiger's claw tied on a chain hung on his neck. What a wonderful combination of beauty and transcendental mellows the Creator had made. There is no difference between the pastimes of Virachandra and Gaurachandra. The Vedas describe them as appearance. Sri Chaitanya Gosai is the fountainhead of all incarnations. His brother Nityananda is but another body of Sri Chaitanya. Lord Nityananda constantly lamented in separation from Sri Chaitanya. Very seldom did he regain his external awareness, and that too he only used for discussing topics of Chaitanya. He constantly meditated on Lord Chaitanya with his body, mind, and speech. He always sang loudly the glories of Chaitanya. He remained in Khanda, and sometimes he saw the deity of Lord Shamsundar as Gauranga. Who can understand the glories of Lord Nityananda? One day, he entered his temple room and disappeared. Again, he solaced himself and came out of the deity room. He then took Vasudha and Janava and left Khanda. From there he went to Ekachakra and saw Lord Bankarai there. After staying there for a few days, Lord Nityananda entered the temple of Bankarai and disappeared. All the Vaishnavas were overwhelmed by separation from the Lord. Somehow or other, they survived by the presence of Virchandra. Virchandra became restless in separation from the Lord. He would sit alone contemplating, now what will I do? Where will I go? I'm totally confused. The Lord disappeared, leaving me alone. The Lord, the Master of the fallen souls, has left us drowning in the ocean of separation. All the devotees cried in lamentation and often became unconscious. They constantly chanted the names of Hari. They lamented, what's the use of our wealth, followers, and very life? Lord Nityananda's left us. They sometimes held their heads and sometimes forcefully slapped their chests crying, Oh Hari! Oh Lord Nityananda, you've left us. The devotees thus cried and rolled on the dust. Hearing the news, all the people of Nadia came to Ekachakra. They were sorely distressed, being unable to see Lord Nityananda anymore. They also began to hold their heads and cry. All the local devotees cried continuously. Everyone, including children, old people, women, and men, cried in separation. However, the atheists laughed, thinking, we'll no longer see Nityananda. Lord Nityananda is the deliverer of the fallen souls. Never serve anyone else except him. Only a most foolish person, unaware of the glories of Nityananda, takes shelters of others. I consider such a person to be the most sinful in this world. All glories to Lord Nityananda, the dearmost associate of Sri Chaitanya. No one is equal to you in the three worlds. You are the reservoir of transcendental bliss who bestows prema bhakti from Mahaprabhu. Those who serve you achieve pure devotional service. O Lord, you delivered all the fallen souls, forgiving their grave offenses. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda are the two matchless lords who appeared for the good fortune of this world. Who can describe the good fortune of the people of this world? Sri Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, the oceans of transcendental qualities, have descended to this world. False ego makes people devoid of attachment to Sri Krishna. Knowing this, worship Lord Nityananda. May the holy names of these lords, whose mercy delivered all the fallen souls, be the garland on your neck. All glories to Lord Nityananda, the abode of love of God. The holy name of Nityananda is naturally supremely pure. To save the entire universe, he descended to this world. Those not worshipping him are surely piles of sin. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda are one. Firmly believe this and take shelter of them. Both lords are full of transcendental bliss and devotional mellows. Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya are Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna. Those who reject this are certainly wretched fools. There is no hope for such fools to achieve devotional service to Krishna. All glories to Sachi Sutta, the enjoyer of transcendental pastimes. His name is well known as Patita Pavana, the savior of the fallen. The Lord delivered all beings, giving his own holy names. Unfortunate as I am, I did not worship such a merciful Lord. Now I take shelter of my Lord with body, mind, and speech. No one is more fallen than I in all the three worlds. All glories to Gaurachandra, the most enchanting personality in the world. O Lord, please reveal your lotus feet within my heart. Let all your pastimes in Bengal manifest within my heart. All glories to the husband of the goddess of fortune, Lord of the three worlds. Let me take shelter of your lotus feet without deviation. In other incarnations, you gave various religious principles, but now you only prescribe loving devotional service. Anyone who is unhappy about this must be blinded by sinful reactions. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, that they may overlook my offenses. Anyone who wants to cross beyond the ocean of material existence and merge into the ocean of devotional service must worship the lotus feet of Nitai Chandra. Sri Gaurasundar is the Lord of my Lord Nitai. I always keep this firm conviction in my heart. Someone says, Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram, and someone says, he is the dearmost associate of Lord Chaitanya. Some say he is the most influential personality, yet others are unable to know who he is. Whether Nityananda is a renunciate or a learned devotee, let them say whatever they want. Let Lord Nityananda be anyone to Lord Chaitanya. Still, I keep his lotus feet within my heart. All glories to Lord Nityananda, the life and soul of Sri Chaitanya. Please allow me to take shelter of your lotus feet. O Lord, let me sing the glories of Sri Gauranga, following in your footsteps. Let me also remain your eternal servant, birth after birth. My only wish is to have his darshan. Anyone who reads or hears Lord Nityananda's pastimes will receive the treasure of Krishna Prem. They say that your devotees are fully dependent on you, yet you are supreme independent Lord. There is no end to the Lord's pastimes. The Vedas describe them simply as manifest and unmanifest. Accepting Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. End of Antya Khanda. Thus ends the book Sri Nityananda Caritamrita, compiled by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur.